Python? Is a Python new language? Yeah, somebody answered like it's a pretty old language. How old it is? Is it older than? Can you compare with any other language? It is older than this language or like that? But do you know when .NET framework came? You guess it. See, I'm not expecting 100% accurate answers. Just you can guess. No harm in that. I don't feel
It
bad.
came into the picture of
In which year?
2009.
Okay. Yeah, you okay, guessed it, but it is even older than it. It came on 2001. Okay, 2001 .NET framework came. And when the Java came into the market, the initial version. Okay, I can say I'll say that it came on 1995, around that in 90s. Okay, and initial version. Okay, Python is even older than that, even older than Java and .NET. Okay, okay, Python is older than Java and .NET. See, Python released in early 90s. Early 90s means it can be 1980 to 1990. Okay, and Python initial version actually came in the 1989, but it was developed for internal purpose, not for the public purpose. But actual version, it came in 1991. So it is that older. It is not a new language. That means it is more matured. It is evolved so much. It has so many things. Okay, it is not like it just came into the market and it has to improve so many things. It may have some errors. It may have some bugs. Okay, nothing like that. It evolved so much in these years, and it has its own popularity. But we know only Python. Maybe last 2 or 3 years back, we heard Python. Yeah, Python in the market, and everybody is learning. And you choose to Python because you want to make your career in Python because you know Python is booming. But Python has its own popularity from the beginning. Okay, it is not a new language. Okay, that's what I mean to say. And it was developed by, okay, Gudio van Rossum. He's the one of the contributor of the Python. It is not like he's the person who has completely developed Python. His contribution is more. Okay, his contribution is more than others. Okay, so many people has contributed, but his contribution and actually the design was from the Gudio van Rossum and some others, the more contribution. But that's why we call him as a father of Python. This is the guy. Okay, is the Goodyear Anderson. He worked for Google. So this picture has taken when he was working with the Google. Why he worked for Google means Google use Python very heavily. You know, Google uses Python, okay, very heavily, and they contributed so much. Contribution in the sense donations. Okay, they contributed so much to Python in the form of donations. Okay, and another question, the big question in the market, many people thinks that why named as a Python? And we'll come to the point why Python. Okay, I just passed there, but I just concluded that Python was a new language or it's an old language. Okay, many people think that even the logo represent like it is like a snake family. It's a Python symbol, but it is not named because of the Python is the name of the one. Uh, it is not from the snake family, but why he named Python means he's the guy who named as a Python. Many people think that okay, Python, Python is a language. It's a new language came into the market. It will eat other languages and it will gain the more popularity. Many people makes a fun also, but not. That is the not the case, and actually it is not the reason. And the main thing is actually when he was a kid. Okay, Gurudeva Rasam. He was liking one TV show. That TV show name. It's actually a comedy show which was broadcasted in BBC at that times. Okay, Monty Python's Flying Circus. Okay, this TV show uh, he liked so much. He his favorite show. So from there he taken this name, Monty Python's Family Circus. He took that name, not like from the snake's name. Okay, I just want to clarify this one also. And coming to the point, okay, why Python? Okay, why Python? And what is the purpose of the Python? And why today we want to learn Python? Okay, and anybody can you tell me what is the purpose of Python and what we can do in a Python? See, like I can tell you, see, the .NET came for some reasons, and Java came for some reasons. Some other languages came for some other C language, even civil language also came for some reason. Okay, they have their own reasons. Like, okay, C language has developed and it is introduced for this purpose, and .NET has introduced for this purpose. Like I can tell you what all the reasons. C language introduced before the BCPL was there, and there was a problems in BCPL. Okay, and the author of C language. Okay, who is the author of C language? I mean, who is the father of C language? Dennis Rich. Right. He actually want to develop an operating system, but he actually want to choose one language which is the better for his operating system, but he doesn't found anything. The BCPL was there, the language, but it is having so many bugs. See, if you declare an integer data type, it takes sometimes it will take 2 bytes, sometimes it will take 4 bytes. It was so much of a buggy kind of things was there. So he thought like he want to develop his own language and he want to develop an operating system. That was his requirement. Okay, and why is Java king? Java has really they have done a beautiful marketing strategy, and it was not correct. They marketed like Java is a platform independent, but it is not. That was a big blunder they made actually in the market. They announced like Java it is not a platform independent. It is a runtime independent. Okay, every platform they have their own runtimes. There, that language can run. Okay, they came for okay. If I'm writing in one platform, my program has to run in multiple platforms. Okay, they can say like it is a cross-platform, but they said like it is a platform independent. That means any platform it can run, but that was not correct. But that was the purpose they came for Java and the .NET came for some other reasons, like they had their own technology, like a COM technology, component object model. But they were saying they were actually, you know, actually marketed COM technology like it is cutting edge technology. It is a very good technology. It's a really you can do so many things. This that can be done anything, and they supported COM technology for 10 years. And suddenly they said COM is having some problems. It is having DLL health, that health, this health, and now they came with the .NET for just to overcome those problems. They came with the .NET framework. Okay, that was their marketing strategy. But why Python? Yes, Python introduced for what? Python never said that we came for this purpose, that purpose, and we want to just okay overcome these problems and all. It is just came for the general purpose. What do you mean by the general purpose? General purpose means you can develop. If you want, you have a requirement for desktop application, you have requirement for web application, you have requirement for data analysis. Okay, you have requirement for something else, what not. That means almost all, any type of application you can develop. Python is introduced for the general purpose. Okay, they are not claiming that this language is not having that, this is having that problem, this problem, nothing. They have developed for general purpose. Means these are all the type of applications we can develop with the Python, whether it is a desktop, web, embedded system, machine learning, deep learning, artificial intelligence, RPA, DevOps, all these areas you can find Python. Means nowadays you can find these profiles required Python. Not only these profiles, even every profile I can say, from the software engineer, okay, to the top manager, they should know Python. Even why I'm saying my manager also, see, even the CEO, CTOs also, they should know Python. Why I'm telling this means, see, you can, nowadays it is a part of your life. It become a part of your life. Like if you want to do any automation also, you can do in Python, because managers and those people, they don't work on the, the technology. They work on mainly on reports, and they submit the reports. They'll work on the statistics kind of things. Okay, they need a data analysis and all from the project. Okay, from the project they'll take some, they'll generate some graphs, they'll reports, and they'll present. And they took they'll get the burned on charts and all those things. Okay, they need those type of data and all. So to automate those things, even they should know Python very easily. Okay, and for developers and all, if you want to choose any type of career in these areas, you can choose. But you know Python, you should know Python. Okay, the DevOps guy should know Python, and RPA guy. Okay, IoT, data science, big data, all these profiles require Python. Okay, and as I said, Python has its own popularity from the beginning, right? So many of us doesn't know that those applications was developed in Python. Okay, but we are using daily. Okay, you can see the list. YouTube, everybody is using. As I said, Google. Dropbox was developed in Python. Dropbox is the own product of Kudia Van Rossum's. It's a cloud storage where you will get a free account for 2 GB, and if you want to use more than that, you have to pay for that. Okay, Dropbox, Raspberry Pi, BitTorrent was developed. NASA uses Python. Netflix, Yahoo, Philips, Facebook. Many people think that Facebook uses PHP, not the Python. Okay, Facebook is not a single application. Okay, they have so many microservices. Okay, in that they have used Python. Okay, and Instagram, Spotify, Uber, all these applications were developed in Python. Okay, any of you know this list of applications developed in Python? I just mentioned a few, but many are there. Anybody knows these applications were developed in Python? No. Okay. Eh, am I audible?
It is audible, sir.
Yes, yes, you
Yeah.
are on.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. No. No. No response is coming. That's why I got a doubt. Okay.
Dilip, if you don't mind,
Yes. Yes.
like
Tell
as
me.
I understand it might be a little boring in the starting. I'm not even, on the side of Dilip. I'm just a senior with 6 years of experience. I have faced
Okay.
multiple things on, getting onto the training and stuff. If you just
Okay.
want, if somebody wants just a regular hearing class, there are multiple ways to get it. But if you want an interaction, it's better to have it because outside projects and requirements are not being easy, and Python is not something pretty easy. So it's better if everybody uses their voice to give any kind of information. Don't take me
Yes.
wrong.
Yes. That's
I'm
what.
just trying to be a little more, I used to handle a consulting firm, so I know how it works. I'm just trying to provide
Yeah.
you little more information. Sorry.
Yes, yes, that's what I'm asking. Actually, when I asked you something, nobody responded. That's why
No,
I had a
I'm
doubt.
asking the class to do that. I'm not trying to do anything on your side.
Yeah, I know, I know. Yeah, understood. Yeah, good suggestion. If everybody understood that what he's saying, yeah, he's just saying that. Just ask any doubts. Ask. It's more interactive, not one side. Only I am talking. Okay, you also ask something. You also talk something. Even if it is a silly thing, also you ask. I don't mind. I don't feel. See, I'm telling you, even don't feel that it is a very silly thing. Why I'm asking, and other people may think that I don't know anything. Don't think like that. See, you have to be a student forever. Forever. Don't think that I know everything. Nobody knows everything. Every in your lifetime you have to learn. Every day you have to learn. So be a student forever, forever. And even don't feel that if I ask this question, do the faculty feel the bad or other peoples in the class will feel the bad? Don't think that like that. Okay, even the silly question if you ask, I don't mind, I don't feel, I'm very happy to answer. Okay, I'm telling to everybody. Okay, ask questions. Even it is a silly question, also ask. I don't mind. And you also don't mind to ask those questions. And don't feel bad also. Even if it is a silly question also. Okay. Today is a basic introduction. You may not get doubts. Once we start, from tomorrow we'll start. Okay, the programming and all. Then you may get doubts. That time you can ask. Okay, and you can make it interactive. Okay, and this might be knowing by some people, and this might be not knowing by some people. That's why I'm telling everything in detail. Maybe some people feel people may feel bored, or some people may feel interesting. Okay, to balance both of you. Okay, I'm actually trying to do the balancing of both, not to bore who already knows, and people doesn't know anything to know this much of information. Okay, and you also make yourself comfortable and ask some questions. Okay, and coming to the futures of Python, every language has its okay what we call advantages and disadvantages like that. The Python is also having some advantages and disadvantages also. We'll talk later, and first we'll talk about the futures. Okay, as I said, it's a beginner's language. Beginner's language means it doesn't require any prerequisite, like you should know this language or you should know this concept and all. Nothing. If you know the basics of a programming language or any means, the basics of a language is same for every language. Okay, if you know the basics, that is more than enough. If you don't know, also fine. If you know the basics, you can learn faster. If you don't know, you have to practice more. That is the only difference. But the way you learn, how much you learn is the same. Okay, it is a beginner's language and easy to learn. Okay, why I said it is easy to learn means it reduced so much of you know the complicated things in other languages, like a static languages. Okay, it has removed so many things, the Python. So why how it got removed means ongoing you'll understand by seeing the syntaxes and by seeing the dynamic nature of the language you'll understand. Okay, why I'm telling this means if I write some small program uh, which requires 10 lines of programming in C sharp or Java, I can achieve the same thing in Python in 2 lines. Okay, that much compact. Okay, and it is high level programming language. What that means is if you see the language, 50% of the code you can understand by seeing the code. Means it is like an English like language. It is like you are reading some paragraph, English paragraph. Okay, some technical things are there which you cannot understand if you don't know the program, but 50% of the language it is high level, so much of high level. Like it is like you're writing a English language. Okay, that much high level. Okay, and it is a cross-platform. It is not claiming that it is a platform independent. Cross-platform is the correct word. Means it can work on multiple platforms: Windows, Mac, Unix, Linux. Uh, Python is developed for Unix, based on Unix operating system. So in Linux and Unix operating systems, you doesn't require to install Python separately. You will get by default, but you have to upgrade to the latest versions. That's it. You don't need to install. But in Mac and Windows, you have to install. Okay, and it's a cross-platform. Even the Raspberry Pi, there also you can run Python, and many in IoT devices you can run Python. Okay, and multi-paradigm language. Okay, it supports multiple paradigms. What are the paradigms? Language paradigms. Okay, language paradigms, there are two categories. One is imperative paradigm and declarative. In imperative, again, we have procedural and object oriented. And declarative, we have functional and logical. What is the procedural means? Okay, the procedural languages means like it is a sequential execution. Like it will not divert to from one sentence to other. Suppose if you have a program of 100 lines, okay, it starts from the line 1 and it executes till the 100th line. Okay, that is a sequence of a sequential execution from the top to bottom. That is called procedural languages. Okay, and object oriented language means we will divide the programming, okay, and we will write a reusable code, okay, with the help of classes. Will I will tell you what is the class and what is the what all involved in the class. But for time being, I'm saying, okay, we will separate the code and we will write a reusable code and structured code, and wherever required, we will write that one. So it is not a sequential. That is object oriented, like a C++. C is not a object oriented. C++, Java, C sharp. Okay, other languages, object oriented languages are there. Okay, and VB6 is object based, not object oriented. Okay, it supports objects, it not classes. Okay, like that we will write a code. Okay, so that is object oriented. And functional means it will not support classes and all, but functions it can support. Like you can write a functions, function oriented. I mean, some languages are there which are more function oriented. Like you can write a code, you can write a reusable code in functions. And what is a function and all, we'll discuss later. But for time being, I'm saying function is a like a reusable code. If you have a requirement like the same set of code, you want to execute in multiple places, you will write in a function, you will call the function wherever is required. That is a function. Okay, function oriented programming. Okay, uh, those you can I can give an example like Lisp. Lisp was that, and logical. Logical means data analysis. Like it purely works on data analysis, like R language or something. Okay, those are logical. Okay, and it is a multi-paradigm, means it supports every paradigm. Means in Python you can write procedural, you can write object oriented, you can write functional, you can write logical also. It is a multi-paradigm. If you want to write a sequential code like from of line 1 to line n, if you want to execute in a sequence, you can write that type of programming also. If you want to write in objects, classes, you can write. If you want to write only in a functions, you can write. Even you can write a logical programming also. That is called multi-paradigm. Okay, Python is a multi-paradigm language. Okay, and it is an interpreted language. Being an interpreted language, it is a dynamic language. So what is the interpreted language means? See, whatever the language we are writing, means whatever the language you choose, you are writing, when you are executing that code, see, it has to be transparent. Like in a layman language, I can say, see, some XY person is there who knows only some language. Okay, like he's a Bengali, he know only Bengali. Okay, so he doesn't know any language, but uh, other person doesn't know any, means he doesn't know the Bengali. Okay, how would they both communicate? Okay, one mediator should be there, some translator should be there, who knows the person who is talking his language and the Bengali. So he'll translate wherever required that language, and again he vice versa like that. So here, in our case, operating system knows only the binary language, right? It doesn't know any language. So, but we are writing in Python, we are writing in C Sharp, we are writing in Java, and we are writing some different languages. How it knows? So, it some translator should be there where its job is to translate to the machine language. So, the translators are two types, okay, and okay, one is we can say compiler, and one is interpreter. Okay, and these compilers are all static languages. These are static, and all the interpreted languages are dynamic. Okay, dynamic. Okay, what that means is, see the static languages, whatever the static languages like C, C++, Java, C Sharp, these are all static languages. So they have compilers. Okay, compiler compiles all the source code at a time. Okay, all the source code at a time. And suppose if you have a program which is having some lines, 5 lines of code. Okay, that compiler, what it will do, it will take the 5 lines of code and it will translate to machine language. It try to translate the machine language. It will check all the things like it is having any syntax error, and it is having any indentation any language errors or anything like that. All it will check. If nothing is there, and then it will translate to machine language. Okay, machine language. If any error comes, what happens? It will raise. Suppose the line 1 is having error here and line 4 is having error. So all the errors at a time it will show. Okay, line 1 is having this error, line 4 is having this error. But interpreter is not like that. Interpreter, if you have the same set of lines, okay, 5 lines of code, what it will do, it will check the first line, okay, and okay, if the first line is okay, immediately translate to machine language, okay, and then go for the second line. Okay, it is okay, translate to machine language. If it is having any error, stop here itself. Okay, it will stop here, it will raise an error here. This line is having some error, rectify it. Okay, even this line is also having error. It will not give that error, it will not populate that error, because see it line by line it will translate. Okay, because it found error here, it stopped here, so it will ignore all these lines. Okay, whenever it reaches here, then only it will raise that error. It will show to the user, this is having this problem, rectify it and execute. But not compiler is not like that. It will take all the code at time and it will try to compile, it will try to translate. Compiling is nothing but translate, and it will try to compile, and any error found, it will throw all the errors at a time. So being a compiler, it is a bit faster than interpreter, because interpreter works line by line, right? So it will take some time, and compiler is faster than the interpreter. These are the two types of translators are there, which is compiler and interpreter. But Python is what? Python is a interpreted based language. So it is line by line, it will translate. So being an interpreted language, comparing to the compiled languages, compiler languages, static languages, it is bit slow. But even we can overcome this speed issue with the other way also. We have py Python for speed, where we can achieve the speed also there. Even it is an interpreted language, it is not that slow. Okay, even in some areas it is much faster. Okay, so all, as I said, all the interpreted languages are dynamic languages. What that means, dynamic language, and what is static language? Okay, the word itself, it represents the dynamism and static nature. Okay, what is a dynamic? Can you tell me what is a dynamic means? First, we'll talk about static. What is a static? General word, general English word. What is a static? Static means what? What is static? Static means anybody? Please respond. Even if it is a wrong also, I don't mind. Something you can answer.
Non-changing, constant.
Stable.
Yes, 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 correct. Exactly. What you said is correct. You heard about static IPs, right? Static IP. Have you heard? In
Yes.
your service provider, internet service provider, he will give an option. Do you want a static IP or a dynamic? What is a static IP? Your IP address will not change. It will remain for whatever he assign. It will be there with you only. Okay, the mainly we use the static IPs for the web servers. Okay, which never change means it will not change. Static. Static nature means once you define, once it is there, that will be there like that. Dynamic means it will change. Changing nature. Dynamic. Okay, that is the difference between means that static languages and dynamic languages mainly if you see the variable declaration. Okay, in C, C++, Java, C Sharp, see these languages, if you are declaring any data type, who doesn't know the data type? I'll explain when the data type comes. Who knows the data type? I'm just explaining for them. If you are defining a data type like int or float or anything, while declaring a data type itself, you have to define that variable or is which data type means that variable should hold which type of data. Okay, while defining it, like suppose uh, I have to say int x, okay, or float, okay, float y, like that. So this x and y can only hold whatever the type it has defined, int float, that's it. In y I can't store int types, in x I can't store float types or any other types than int. That is the static nature. Static, you are defined as a int, you have to store only int types. But dynamic is not like that. Dynamic, there is no type declaration. If you want to use a variable, use x equal to 10. Okay, and even x equal to even 10.5 also. So there is no before, there is no declaration, type declaration. So here what happens, dynamically it will decide that based on the data what we are defining. Okay, it will decide the data type internet. This also will have data types, no doubt, but dynamically it will define. That is called the dynamism, and this is called a static nature. Okay, and again in the next line I'm saying x equal to 10.5. It is a float type, and at this point, okay, this becomes a float data type, not a int. At this point it is int, at this point it is a float. Okay, this is called dynamic nature, changeable nature. But here you cannot store. If once you said x equal to 10, and again if you say x equal to 10.5, it will it will throw error, it will give error. Okay, but a dynamic language is not like that. Dynamic, it defines on the fly. Okay, that is the dynamic nature. Those are the that is the dynamic language. That is interpreted language. All the interpreted languages are dynamic languages. All the compiler languages or compiler based languages are static languages. Okay, compiler based languages are machine friendly, and all interpreted languages are developer friendly. Okay, it is very easy and for developers to write code. Okay, it is a friendly for, it is a friend of machine, but this is a dynamic is a friend of a developer. Okay, it will give a flexibility like, okay, I'm giving flexibility like use however you want. But okay, if you talk about the advantages, disadvantages, both are having advantages and disadvantages. But this is having Python, even the disadvantages also it made as an advantage in Python, especially being an interpreted language also. We'll see that nature, we call it as a mutable, immutable nature. We'll see once we come in there, the variable declaration, what is a mutable and immutable nature. There I will tell you in detail. Okay, so Python is a dynamic language. Okay, being an interpreted language, it is a dynamic language. Okay, being a dynamic language, okay, we'll write less lines of code. Okay, now you understood, right? What is a static and dynamic? At that, see, by knowing that nature, simply you can reduce the lines in dynamic languages, because again you don't need to declare again another variable of that type, right? Even if I want to use the one variable for all the data types, I can use. But in static languages, if you want for 4 or 5 data types, you have to define 4 or 5 types of variables. That many lines got reduced, right? Okay, in that way it lines got reduced, and even the Python's syntax also makes the lines less lines. Okay, if you understood the Python syntax, you'll understand. Okay, we'll see all these things. Huge libraries and very big advantage and very big uh, the strength of Python, I can say. Huge libraries. Okay, Python having so many libraries support, and no other language is having that many libraries support. If you see, the Python is having more than 2 lakh libraries on production. Okay, 2 lakh plus libraries. It is increasing day by day. You can see that in python.org, where the Python package index, I will show you that. Okay, there you can see the libraries. What is a library? Here first you may get doubt. Library is a kind of, it is a code which is already written for you for some purpose. Suppose if you want to develop a web application, web related libraries you have to use. Their web related functions and web related classes already defined, already written. Just you have to use it. That's it. You should know which library you have to use. That's it. If you are working on like suppose I'll give an example like okay, face recognition. You're writing you want to develop an application, so you don't need to write from the scratch. You already have some libraries which has predefined code. You can use that library and you can use that code, and you can define your requirements. Okay, those are the libraries. So for every requirement you have a library. The thing is, you have to identify which library you require. Okay, and I'll show you this one, okay, in a minute, and after completing this. Okay, and it is a GPL. Okay, GPL means general public license. General public license means it doesn't require any license, and it is completely free. And many people having a perception like open source means it's a free. No, not like that. Open source means all the open source is not a free. Open source means the source is open. You can take the code, you can do. But if you want to use that code in multiple machines, multiple developers, you may need to pay. Means maybe it will give for 10 users, it may be free, and after that you have to pay the license. Not all open source are free, but GPL means it is completely free. How many users if you want to use, and how many downloads you want to do, you can do. Okay, that is called GPL, general public license. Python is a GPL language, so it will never cost you. In future also it will not make you to pay, but it will offer for donations. If you want to donate, you can donate. You can support Python. Okay, like how Google did, and even still doing, many companies. Okay, I think it is completed. Let me show you that. Okay, that python.org. Let me share my screen again. Are you able to see my screen? I have shared it again.
It is visible.
Yeah, python.org, right? You're able to see this, right? Okay. So everybody is able to see, right? This website, what I'm showing. Please confirm. Uh,
Yes, sir.
yeah, okay.
Yes,
See,
sir.
if you see, this is the official website, python.org, where you can download and where you can contribute, where you can donate, where you can get the libraries, everything you can get from here. Okay, even from here also you can practice up to some extent, not complete big applications or something. Some beginning stage you can even practice also. Okay, so this python.org, if you see, you have PSF, Python Software Foundation, and PYPI, Python Package Index. Okay, this is the Python Software Foundation where they decide, okay, what the new enhancements, what the new features, and the next version, what they require to do. All those things will be decided by the Python Software Foundation. Okay. See, you can see here, the Python Software Foundation is a organization devoted to advancing open source technology related to Python programming language. Okay, and you can see the other thing here, donations. If you want to donate, you can do donations. And if you want to if you want to become a member, you can make a member. And this is very important. PYP, this is what I'm telling. The huge library support. Python package index. If you go here, the Python package index, see it redirect to pypi.org, where you can find installed published Python packages. Okay, with the Python package index. So you can see in the projects how many it is showing releases. Okay, you can see the count here. What is the count? What is the number? It is, it's a 2,85,000. It is reaching to 3 lakh. I said 2 lakh plus. It is reaching to 3 lakh. Okay, soon it will reach to 3 lakh packages. And how many releases happened? Okay, it is, see here, 5 digit. These many users are there contributing. Okay, suppose if I want to, um, and many people know the web framework for Python is Django, right? I'm just typing Django. You can see package came. You can click here. You can see the description. Okay, and the version also. Okay, here this is the latest version, and this is the version. Okay, and released date. Okay, and some information about this. Okay, and you can download it. Offline download also you can do, and online also you can install. We'll see what is a pip tool and how we can download it offline. If you don't have internet connection in your machine, somewhere you can download and you can install those packages also with the help of this download. After download this wheel files, we call this as a wheel file, WHL file. This file we have to download. Okay, so we'll see all these things. Right now this is not the time to explain about how to download these things. Whenever uh, that time comes, I'll explain. Okay, like whatever you want, you can just type here. Okay, you can get that information and you can download. See it for this OpenCV, I got 855 projects. Okay, suppose Flask is also in the web framework. Okay, see, you can see here, this is the Flask is lightweight WSGI web application framework. Okay, something blah 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 they have given. Okay, you can see, they're saying how to install also. In the sample code also they have given. Okay, okay, they have, you can install with the pip tool or even with the offline downloads also, like this. Okay, this has released on last year April 3rd, and the version is 1.1.2. Okay, so what my intention to show here is, okay, let me go back to python.org. Tomorrow you have to do one thing, like you have to go to the download section. Okay, downloads. Okay, you select your appropriate operating systems. Okay, if it is a Mac, if it is a Windows, select that one, and you can go for the latest one or even older versions also. Okay, the latest one is 3.9.1. Okay, this one you can install, or if you want to the other stable versions like before versions, you can see here, this is 3.8.7. I recommend to install greater than 3.7. Okay, because 3.7 is commonly used in most of the projects nowadays. More than that version. So don't go for earlier like 3.6 or anything. It's your choice, whatever the version you want to install. But I recommend more than 3.7 or 3.7 you install. Why I'm saying this version means, see, most of the packages will support for this version. See, if you go for the completely latest version, okay, the packages may not support. Means that they have to release the new versions. Then only it will that can be supported by the latest Python releases. Okay, so always go for the stable version. Okay, either 3.7 or greater than 3.7. Okay, don't go for below that. Okay, if it is a 3.7.9, okay, choose. If your operating system is 64-bit, choose the 64-bit executable installer, and if it is 32-bit, you can choose that one. Okay, just click it, it will download. Okay, the Python installer, I'm just clicking it. Okay, the exe will come. Okay, and very important thing, I already have this one. I'll just pass it. I think I have. Let me check. Okay, I don't have that one. Okay, let it download. It's just 25.7 MB it is. Okay, and while installing, it will ask for path to set environment variable. For Windows users especially, you have to select it. Then you don't require to set manually. That you have to do. Okay, you have to, your task is that one. You have to install the Python. Okay, in your machines. Okay, which version if you want you can choose. Okay, here is the version and the type of installer. Okay, and one more thing, if you go to the python.org slash shell, okay, if you type shell, you will get the Python shell. Here also you can practice the small things. You can execute the code from the Python interpreter. Okay, it is the console is coming from here, Python anywhere, online console from Python anywhere. Okay, it will load the interpreter. My net connection is slow, I believe. It's taking some time. Yeah, it is loading. Okay, see here. This loaded Python 3.8. Okay, 3.8. This is the Python prompt. We call this as a triple chevron. Okay, triple chevron means three greater than symbols in a Dutch language. Because why this is called a triple chevron means Guderian person is a Dutch scientist. Okay, that's why he named as a triple chevron. Okay, see it is downloaded. Okay, let me open this one. If I double click. Okay, let me share the screen again. Okay, are you able to see this Python installer? If you double click, after downloading, if you double click the exe, the window shows like this. Are you able to see?
Yes.
Anybody can confirm? Yeah. Okay. See, you will get like this. Okay. Before saying install now, okay, tick this one. Okay, add Python 3.7 to the path. So you don't need to set the path. Why we need to set this path means anywhere you can execute the Python programs, anywhere you can load the Python interpreter. Okay, you don't need to go to the particular path and you have to launch the Python interpreter. Nothing like that. Anywhere it will open. Okay, just you have to make this one, add to the path, and then install now. Install now will take the default instructions and it will install. If you want a custom install, that means if you want to install in particular location, like it will by default it will take in this path. You see here, by default it will take in this path. If you don't want that one, choose the custom installation, and where you can choose the path. Okay, it will ask for your suggestions to what need to be installed, what not to be installed. But I recommend, as a beginner, for the beginners, okay, just tick this one, check this one, go for the install now. Okay, once you got the experience and you know what contains and what required and what not required, and after some time you can choose custom install. But right now I recommend to use install now instead of custom install. Just tick this one, click on install now, and you say next, it will install. After installation, okay, after installation you will get, okay, now I think it is not showing anything. Okay, let me share again. Okay, you are able to see my screen, right? Okay, if you can you confirm, anybody, you're able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Okay, just type IDLE. Okay, IDLE. Okay, like this you will get after Python installed on your machine. You will get this one. Okay, just click that one. That is a learning environment. IDLE means interactive development learning environment. This is also a shell. Have you observed the same thing we got when we load the Python shell in python.org? Okay, the same triple chevron came. Okay, the same information is coming, and this is the Python 3.9.1. Okay, you will get like this. If you are getting like this, you installed properly. If you are not getting this ideally loaded, and if you are not getting the triple chevron, okay, something went wrong. Okay, you have to confirm this one. Okay, and Once you are coming here, and you have to check one more thing also, because we have ticked that path, add to the path, right? Just here, you just, if you want to come out of this shell, either you have to type quit, okay, or exit. Anything is fine. Okay, quit or exit. Okay, and now I'll come to the command prompt. Okay, and here, okay, okay. So here I'm in C drive. If I say Python, here also it should load the same thing. Triple children means the prompt and this information. The triple children, it should come. And not only here, okay, anywhere. If I go to the E drive also, it should come. If you type Python, okay, just Python, enter, Python prompt should come. Okay, anywhere it should come, because we have made as a, we added to an environment, right? Add to the path. Okay, these things you have to click. So you will understand that it is installed properly. Can you do this, everybody? The installation and checking these things, very simple thing. If already there, no problem. Just make your Python available on environment variable, and if nobody installed, okay, install it. Okay. Any doubts? Guys, come on, respond. Guys,
Nothing
are
from
you
my
there?
side.
Yeah. Okay. You do this right, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Tomorrow?
Yes, sir, we will do.
Okay. And you try it. It is very simple. Okay. If you are having any doubts or any trouble in installing, tomorrow we'll see. Okay. It is not a big thing. It is pretty easy, simple. You can say next, next, next. Okay. You can install it. Okay.
Dilip, I have few
From,
questions.
yes, yes, yes.
How long is the course?
Um,
I mean, how many days?
it will take around 40 sessions on Python,
Okay.
completely Python, 40 to 45.
What does the course content contain? Does it have the Django framework and stuff? Does
Yes,
it have
yes.
any Flask from the front end side?
The Flask you will get a APIs and all, and Django you will have the complete backend.
Okay, so this is
The
more
Flask,
on back end
if you
side.
know the Django, yes, if you know the if you know the Python, one thing I want to clarify here, like you have to be strong in language, Python language. How much strong you are, and that much easy of other streams you go, the Python, any stream of Python, that will be very easy for you. You should be very strong in Python language. Okay, that is the base, because everything is a framework, it is a library which is developed for our easiness. Okay, but you have to learn, you have to know the Python. You should be strong in Python. Then whether it is a Django, whether it is a Flask, or whether it is what else, XYZ, it is easy for you.
Okay. Okay.